If you Instagram, I've live streamed a couple of times. I had a thing like this of water, and it was frozen, just you know, downstairs. It was thawing, or as I like to call it, unfreezing. Um, Unthawing would be freezing something, right? I'm gonna unthaw it. That means I'm gonna put it in the freezer and freeze it. Um, so it was unthawed, and so when I took the lid off, all this water came out and spilled on my pants, and I'm up here letting it dry off because I don't want Destiny to think that I'm so old I have to wear diapers. She's, you know, she might think that, and then I'll say like, "No, Destiny, I didn't pee in my pants." She'll be like, "Yeah, you did. Admit it." So I'm gonna let it dry before I go down there, right? I'm thinking. Um, so this there's some kind of story. I haven't watched it. I don't need to watch it. I don't need to watch it because the byline was reunited with dog after 11 years. Really? You think it's a good idea to reunite the person that lost their dog? Like, who made that fool mistake? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you lose your dog. I'm not saying, listen, I've gotten plenty of dogs back to people. It's true that the dog gets out. I make the effort to find the people. But there's this thing of like, it really shouldn't happen, you know? It shouldn't happen. So the dog is gets out for whatever reason. Let's say the dog gets out. It's been away from the first owner for 11 years. Why do you want to stress the dog out taking him back to the stranger? Sort of like, the first owner, like that's just going to stress the old dog out. Why do you want to reunite him? Who had the dog for 11 years? I'd like to know. Has anybody seen the story? I'm sorry. I'm sure there's some kind of excuse. It better be a good one. Like, we were in my car and, like a truck hit us and then we were in a ditch. The car was on fire and the dog took off. Something. You better have something good, some kind of reason for losing your dog. I have the responsibility of taking care of other people's dogs when they're here. And people think that this is like such an easy job being a dog trainer. There's a lot of stress involved. I'm stressed out about my own dogs, like when I leave and stuff. That's why I got blink cameras. But other people's dogs, I'm even more like worried about. So it's you can't let anything happen. This is how it is. And how many you know dog owners like lose their dog? It's not. If one of my dogs was running around, I'd be flipped out. I would. I'd be flipped out. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's an imitation of somebody that I know. Um, how do you lose your dog like that and for 11 years? And then where's the dog been for 11 years? It must have been living with somebody. What, like it had a chip in and somebody finally, oh, well, I've had the dog for 11 years. And this vet found out that like it actually belongs to somebody. So I'm going to take the dog back. What? I guess you don't care about the dog either. Does anybody know anything about this stupid story? It better be a good story. There better be a good reason that you lost your dog in the first place. And it better be a good story that the person that the dog has been with for 11 years is just like, what, you didn't bond to the dog? And you're willing to stress the dog out? Or maybe reunited is it just means like, Well, the dog got lost, and the dog's 11, and then they find out well, let's take the dog over so the people can say hello or something. Why even bother? I'm sorry, but why bother? Some some piece of shit loses their dog, they don't deserve the right to see the dog again. Why would you reunite them with the first owner? The first owner was for whatever reason. I don't care what it is. What would the reason be? There is not a reason that I can even my scenario of like the dog's in the car. Dog should be in a crate. Like how'd you lose the dog? You know, how could you lose the dog? There's no excuse that makes it like, oh, okay, well then that makes sense. You should always have something in place so that the dog doesn't. I have to do this for a living. There has to be a redundancy. And you, the pet owner, you should have a redundancy too. I used to think about like putting GPS on them as a redundancy, but you know what the redundancy is? Don't lose them. I don't know. I guess you could say, well, maybe somebody broke into the house and left the door open. Well, that's still not an excuse because your dog's supposed to be crated when you're gone. So the only excuse I can see is somebody breaks into your house and opens the crate and lets the dog out. And then the dog is lost. Somebody has the dog for 11 years and then decides to take it to a vet and says, yeah, I found him 11 years ago. And the vet goes, oh, well, let's see if he's got a chip. Oh, he's got a chip. Well, here's the owner. What kind of vet would be like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, it's been 11 years. It is their dog. Well, possession is 9/10 of the law, first of all. And you're dealing with an animal that, listen, they don't have an emotional state like a human. But you flip that dog out, taking it back like that. It's been with you for 11 years. Why would you be taking it back to its owner? You're the owner now. I don't know. The whole thing just sort of is weird. The dog would remember the first owner too. The dog is, since it's been gone, hasn't thought about the owner once. But when the dog sees the owner or smells the owner, there will be like this like flood of muscle memory. But they don't sit there like dogs that are staying here for training. They don't think about the owners while they're here. I just, like, what is the thing? Dog sleeps on master's grave or something. That never happened. That's bullshit. That's another bullshit story on the internet. No dog has ever done that. No dog would do that. The dog doesn't even have the concept that the owner's in the ground. I would give a shit. That's not what they do. And I'm sorry your dog doesn't love you. I'm saying this again, but it's incapable of loving you. It's non-human. Love is a human emotion. They can like you a lot. I'm not putting the dog down. They can really dig people. Dogs love the crap out of me because I treat them like dogs and I hang out with them and spend time training them. They love me. So, and they respect me. And remember that in the dog world, respect is comparable to humans in love. So they respect the shit out of me. So I'm sorry it hurts, but that's the truth. Hang on. They were in this for about 6 months, and then they went to the store for about 20 minutes. Hang on. Here's the story. They were with us for about 6 months, and then we went to the store for about 20 minutes, and back, and Zoe's missing. Hang on. That doesn't even make sense. Avery Moon, hang on. I'm reading the story. It says, we got her at the pound when she was 6 months old. With her twin sister? Oh, so it's a moron. You don't get two dogs together. Do y'all know that? Because neither one's going to get trained. Thank you, Avery Moon. They were with us for about 6 months, and then we went to the store for about 20 minutes and back. Oh yeah, right. Zoe's just missing. Right. Where'd you leave her? Where'd they leave her? In the backyard? Another bad owner. Something doesn't add up. One, you can tell that the people that got the 2 dogs with the twin sister are idiots, and the shelter was terrible for letting them adopt 2 dogs. Any breeder that lets you buy 2 dogs is not a good breeder. Any shelter that gives you 2 dogs at a time is not a good shelter. They went missing. Was microchipped, but after so long, the microchip company listed her as deceased. Yeah, it is very fishy. Sorry, I don't. It just doesn't add up. Sounds more like they got 2 dogs and labeled the one stupid and kicked the dog out. A dog just doesn't go missing. If the dog's missing, they went to the store and the dog's missing. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it was in their backyard. If it was in their backyard, the dog climbed out or dug out. That's their fault. If it was inside and they left the door open, it's their fault. The dog just doesn't go missing. Why in the world was the dog reunited? You know? That's another heartstring story and another sad example of lousy dog owners. Lousy dog owners. And the media is using this as like, oh, it's human interest. Isn't that emotionally, isn't that wonderful? The dog was reunited after 11 years. It shouldn't have been. And where'd the twin sister go? You know, where'd that dog go? We got 6 million dogs dying every year. 4 to 6 million dogs dying every year in the United States. We got bullshit stories like this, right? Hey, what's up, Diego? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Hey, Diego, I'm doing some green screen now. I know you can relate. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. It's slow uptick. Well, no, it's going pretty good, actually. It's getting better and better. I'm using a 13 Pro Max, or Max Pro, whatever it is, and the depth of field thing is helping. Just thought I'd throw that in. But I like it, man. It's changed my life. You know what it reminds me of, Diego? It reminds me of printmaking. It reminds me a lot of printmaking. It's very much like that. Like it, you know, it's so similar, man. It's weird. It's like it takes me back to the Art Institute and shit. Like, I didn't you know, it's just like in the Art Institute, at the Art Institute and printmaking, I was doing a lot of like Xerox collages and shit. And it's like that. Like you got the negative space. You got to see stuff like backwards and stuff. I enjoy the shit out of it. Compositioning. Yeah, you can move it around. It's fucking great. What about Lenny? Any news on Lenny? Where's Lenny? This big. Those aren't fucking designs, idiot. Somebody's saying my Bigfoot designs look legit. That's not the same thing, man. Can't I be an artist? And people don't get this, Diego. They're like, hang on. It seems like the dog was taken in by someone who abandoned her, and then when animal control came, so I guess whoever took her never took her in for veterinary care. Oh, another great owner. She's in Florida. Our dog Lola is having cataract surgery. Man, that dog, it's been a lot of years, hasn't it? I got Mango still. He's like 23 years old, man. He's blind as a bat. He is really, really blind. I mean, like real blind. But he's 23. Um, how old is your dog? Not that old, right? I remember when y'all got that dog. Yeah, Mango may be the oldest dog in the world, if not one of them. That's a fact. 7 years. Yeah, you got to get the surgery at 7 years. He could see until he was 18. Or wait a minute, about 19. Now he's blind. Fuck it. You just, I'll do whatever. You know, he's fucking old as shit. Literally one of the oldest dogs on this planet, if not the oldest. It's bizarre. There's a medical record on the guy and everything. I could call Guinness Book of World Records if I wanted to, but what's the sense? Who cares? But he is old. He is old. Um, Mango gets a lot of baths. You know, he's got to go out all the time. Drinks a lot of water. How is Mango's hearing? Who knows? You know, he's always been sort of like, whatever, I don't give a damn, Kane. Don't tell me what you want me to do. He just does his own thing. He's a lone wolf. You know, just he's Mango. I wake up every day thinking, man, I'm gonna go down there and he's gonna be dead in his crate, and he's still alive. I keep him like I take him in and out of the crate all the time. I have to be honest. Um, you know, because he'll bump into shit. I'll let him wander around the backyard. I'll be out there in the backyard and just like, here, Mango, let's go out here. Mango's just wandering around doing his shit, sniffing stuff, and he's got to be a dog, you know. In the winter, like if there's real heavy snow, I'll put him on the porch and let him fucking walk around. Planting some pawpaws in the yard this year. I got some pawpaw seedlings. I'm putting more in. Let's say I have 50 trees or something. I had over 300 pawpaws last year. I got pawpaw pulp down there that I have to. Mango is a Chihuahua, long-haired Chihuahua or something. I had 300. I mean, I had a ton. So I don't know how many we're gonna get this fall, but you know, Destiny's cousin was here, so it was only me processing them. It was a pain in the ass. You know, I didn't want them to go to waste. I think I'm gonna sell some to this one place in Ithaca, so I don't have to process. I should thaw some of that out and eat it. It's better than ice cream. I might make a little ice cream, like use the pulp and just add a little half and half or something. Put it in the ice cream maker. Something. Pulp's good by itself, but maybe throw a little cinnamon in there. I don't know. Yeah, but those people are terrible. Just dog owners. Thank you, Iniquities. Long weekend. Keep the party going. That's right. Party on. Party fucking on. It's one big party. That's my life. It's like one big party. It's true. Iniquities. It is very true. Destiny's down there doing an installation in her room. Her room was one big art installation. She was working on these bikinis made out of pony beads, but I think she's out of the. She got this stuff. It's like fishing line, but it's stretchy. So that's what she's using to string the beads with and make the bikinis. I think she might be out of that stuff. We got to get her some. Just between me and you, she looks pretty good in a bikini. I mean, okay. Yeah, she looks great. You think what was aliens? You think what was aliens? I don't know what you think was aliens. Russell, let's see what he was saying. Oh, hang on, man. I'm still trying to figure out this Facebook thing. I can't really get like the chat to scroll. Oh, they're talking about uh, that Bigfoot, that female Bigfoot. You know that I didn't ask for. You know, I didn't want it. She manhandled me, sort of. Not sort of. She did, and it was a female. Trust me, I know the difference. That was a female. It's like a big Russian woman. Wasn't pleasant. Okay. A tongue like sandpaper. It was bad. It's nothing. I'm not bragging about it. It's nothing to brag about. I have PTSD because of it. I don't want to go in the woods alone. I don't. I'm not going to go in there. Take a dog and a gun with me now. Someone. Take Vampire Girl with me. She'll protect me, maybe. I don't need her to protect me. That'll never happen again. I don't think so. I mean, it could. But that happens. That happens more than people think. There's some rube, and I'm not a rube, but like some city folk going to the woods, they think it's all, oh, there's just deer in here or something. Next thing you know, they're being bent over a tree stump. That's not what happened to me. I told you it was a female Bigfoot. It was female, and she wasn't very attractive. I was sober. Totally sober. So, think whatever you want. I don't care. Boy, I just keep talking about the difference in the iPhone 13 than the 12. The 12 is what I use for Facebook because, you're YouTube, you know. Oh, the Sasquatch milk, yeah, it does taste like honey, though. That's true. That is true. And they can pick you up, carry you underneath their arm, and run up a hill going 40 miles an hour. It's big, and it's non-human, man. I thought you want to know the truth about Bigfoot? Is that what you want to know? It's a ET. They aren't from here. It's a biological recording device placed here by the Greys. And that's why you don't find dead bodies. That's why you don't find a lot of scatter or anything. They're here. It's, a biological recording device that records our environment, and then they're taken back up. And by up, I mean up. I don't mean like a spaceship, okay? Trust me, there's no spaceship involved. I've talked about my dreams where the Greys come and take me to the interior of the sun. There is no spaceship. It's a dream, though. Don't think I'm crazy. I know the difference. A dream is when you fall asleep. It just so happens that over the last 30-some years, I've had these reoccurring dreams every few years where the Greys come and take me to the interior of the sun. And they're real vivid, and I can remember intricate details about them like it really happened, like I was really there. And when I'm there, they'll tell me this isn't a dream. You're laughing, but it's not funny. I'm telling you, the one time I asked them, I said, is this hell? Because it looks like hell, sort of. It's got this reddish hue. And they said, no, you're in the interior of the sun. All my other dreams have to do with Earth. Like my relationships with people, or maybe it's just like, I had a dream the other day or something, Schwarzenegger was in it. The governor was in it. And, didn't make any sense, but still it was like stuff that, like I was on the planet. And in those dreams, when I go to the interior of the sun, I'm in the interior of the sun. Yeah, they're reoccurring every, for the last. First one was when I was that I can remember, I was in my early 20s, I was at the Art Institute. When I woke up, I was like, every time I have one, they come get me. All of a sudden, I'm at the portal, right? And then after I'm done there, after they talk to me and shit, they take me back to the portal. There's like an abyss, which looks like the universe or something, a solar system. Now, at first, like they wanted me to just like jump into the bit. I'm like, no, I'm terrified. It's like, and they levitated me up, and then I woke up in my bed. As the second or third time, when I get to the abyss, I just jump. Now that's the last time I remember is I'm jumping. Um, but you jump from the abyss, you jump into the abyss, and then you wake up in bed like, oh my god, what was that? I've had several epiphanies after I've had these dreams too, like learning how to Photoshop. I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't. Why do you think they picked you? It's a dream. I don't know. I'm sleeping. I'm telling you, it's a dream. I know that. I don't, Linda. I don't know. I talk about these dreams all the time. I'm making art about them. They want me to make art. They said this. And I made the photo collages. And when I made the photo collages, I was like, boy, I wish that I could do that as like a video or film. And then all of a sudden I can now. So that's what I'm working on right now. Do they? Yes, that's what they said. They said that they want me to make art about it. And they said when I'm making it, like they allow me to remember the shit. And they said when I'm, um, oh, you know the photo collages, yeah. They said while I'm making it, it'll become even more clear, like it'll be easier to remember. When I did the photo collages, this is the truth. It's the same as me working on the green screen video that I'm working on right now. It's like it's like I'm not even making them. Like the photo collages, I'd be like, well, I need an image. I'd go to Google, I'd type something in. It's the exact image I need. Like, oh, that works perfect. The whole time I made those collages, it was like that. And then now I'm having the same experience with the green screen. I don't know. You and David Higgins made art about your experience. Who's David Higgins? I don't know who that is. You and David Higgins made art about your experiences. I don't know who David Higgins is. I'll look later. I could look right now, but David Higgins, huh? Was his like mine? Did he go to the interior of the sun? I typed that in to Google to see if anybody else has had this experience, and nothing's coming up. But it doesn't shock me because, like, I saw something in 2016. He also had alien encounters also. I saw something in 2016. It was an orb, and it was about 500 feet away. It was like glowing red with like pulsating things going up and down it. It was mostly red, but some of the things that were going up kind of looked whitish. And I don't know. Me and Destiny saw stuff. She'd been here for a little bit. I went outside every time I'm going outside, it has to do with one of the dogs. I open the back door and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm screaming. I run in and go, Destiny, get down here. Now, she had her phone with her, so did I. Hers went to a cloud, right? So the stuff on the cloud showed up, but the stuff on her phone didn't. And same thing with mine. I had a phone, but my stuff didn't show up on my phone. Like, literally, like, it's on, and as soon as I get it up, then it went black. I've never had anything like that with my phone. This is true. This is true. Destiny stuff, because it went to the cloud. She got it. And what we saw were like these glowing balls of light. I jumped in the car this time and started, drive. This is weird. Now I think about it. They were in that direction. Oh, wait a minute. I know what happened. I did drive down that way. And then by the time I drove, Destiny said that they like moved and then like disappeared, but then I drove back down this way. I turned the car around and then some appeared again. And I got my camera out and I was trying to get that. And once again, it was like this, like, I don't know. I don't know. I know that what we saw, those are real. You gotta hide from what? What am I gonna hide from? Um, those were real. And the red one that I saw, my neighbor was slamming his car door, and I said, "Hey, do you see this?" He goes, "Yeah, the red thing. Yeah, I see it." On both occasions, those two occasions, I saw it with someone else. One time I was goose hunting and I thought I saw something. It was metallic. It was real high up. But I chalked it up to I'm tired. And I said to myself, same thing, like, am I seeing a UFO? What is this? And then I looked down and then it was gone. I don't know. I've heard this before though too, that like it doesn't register when you're trying to, like, it screws with your electronics or something. And I guess the Navy has it on their ship because it goes into some type of cloud. So it's not really recording on a device. It uploads into a cloud, and I don't know. Those are real. The things that I saw and Destiny saw and I saw with my neighbor. The dreams, they're dreams because I'm asleep when it happens. So I have to, logic says they're dreams. They're just, in the dreams, they tell me that I'm not dreaming. And it's not hell. And they tell me that they have no intention of hurting me. And I'm supposed to make art. They did tell me that if I do what they say, that I get to be a zookeeper, which freaks me out because, like, what do they mean? Like, there's like walls like up there, like there's like caves. It, like, say there's like a cliff wall, right? There's like sort of like it looks sort of desert-ish with like rocky cliff type things, but like the sky is all kind of undulating and reddish and orangish, so it makes the whole area look sort of like that. But it's immense. It's immense. But on the sides of the cliffs of the wall of the caves, whatever, there's like other caves that are like windows into other worlds. Like, some might be like a window into like a different universe, some are a different solar system, some are directly into another planet, some like that. And then sometimes in some of the windows into other worlds, it's like sort of like a little cave, right? And up on the edge, there might be an animal right there, like almost like by happenstance. Like, the animal doesn't really know that it's there, that it's on the edge of this like window into another world. So one time I saw something that look like a Gila monster, like a Earth type animal. Some of the animals look like Earth type animals, and some of them look like nothing I've ever seen. Like I'm like, what the hell is that? So, some of them look familiar, some of them don't. Um, so when they said I get to be a zookeeper, I don't know what they mean. Like, do I get to go? Like I die and then I have to go live up there because that's really intense up there. I don't know if I want to live up there. Maybe if I'm one of them, but or do they mean that I'm reincarnated as a zookeeper? I don't know. He's live. Yeah, I'm live. I'm live all the time, man. I go through periods where I live stream all the time. Usually when I need money. I do have a client coming on February 27th, which was great because it was put off for like a couple months or something. It's a fucking hunting dog. It's a Vizsla. It's Lucy. I guess it's Luczi or something. Something like that. But it's a Vizsla. I love bird dogs. It has separation anxiety. Um, so I work with the separation anxiety and just train the crap out of it. I think it can actually do some stuff like I forgot what he said. I think it can do hold and drop and retrieve maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it can or it can't. It's got to learn how to do it with me. So um, I like those breeds, man. The bird dogs, they're fucking ridiculously. They're no dog is harmless, but the hunting dog breeds are sort of known for that, like just to be like good-natured idiots. You know, like Tonka, my bird dog. Like he's a hyperactive idiot that can do a lot, but would a normal person want to deal with him? I don't want to deal with him. I do. It's just like we don't hunt anymore. He's old, man. He could still hunt. I'm the one that my lab got cancer and was sick for 3 years, and I wasn't gonna go hunting without him. There's no way. So it just sort of like I don't know. I was to the point with hunting though that I didn't have to shoot a duck or anything. I just was out there to like screw around. If I shot a duck, it was for Ike, you know. So and when we go upland get like grouse hunting or or you know woodcock or anything like that, Ike went. Tonka's out there doing his thing. I could just walk right by me. It's fucking awesome, man. I miss that guy. I got Gus down there. Gus is the dog that a friend of mine got when he was sick, and so he's sort of here. I think he's my dog, so maybe I should take Gus into the woods. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. See how Gus is. Gus is great. Gus will listen to me. He's fine. He's trained. I trained him. But I mean, there's no reason for him to should just stay here. I haven't heard from my friend. I'm sure that last time I heard from my friend, he said that he was having more health issues. So it's fine. The dog can live here. I don't care. It's been here for over a year now at this point, I think. Yeah. Yeah, over a year. He's fine. He's a Labrador. I don't give a shit. I should just start treating him like he's mine. Most intense moment. Somebody's asking me my most intense moment. Probably the dream when they take me to the interior of the sun. It's pretty intense, man. I had a fear of death for years, and a friend of mine who like I became friends with this woman. I trained her dog, and she said, "I understand why you have a fear of death." I said, "Why is that?" And she goes, "Because you probably feel that death." You go to the sun, and that's like more intense than here, and life on Earth is intense. So, um, you know what I'm saying? So she's probably right, because it's really intense up there. You're dealing with you're dealing. Listen. This is the way they explained it to me. They introduced me. One time, I'm up there. Like, they walk me from the portal. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. It's tough walking up there. It's like I'm at high altitude and it's hot. So, they walk me to this, like, meeting staging ground area where the, like, head guy is. That's the way I look at it. And he's like a real scary looking dude. I've told this story so many times. So, one of the times I'm there were all these other ones there, and they were all standing around looking at me. And I said, "Why are they here?" They said, "They're here to see you." And then out of this like crowd of them comes this one, and there was something similar about it. And I said, "Is that me?" And they said, the head guy goes, "No, but it's related to you." Yeah, it's a photo painting thing I did of Hillary. Um, Said, "No, it's related to you." I've sort of gotten the impression that like we're like a not a I don't know, like an avatar or something, and they're the originals. Well, they would have to be the originals because they're clearly more advanced than us. I mean, if it's real and not a dream, because they can clearly they don't need a spaceship. They don't need a ray gun. So they're more advanced than us. So I would assume that we would be the copies and they're the originals. Or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But I do know this, that if it was 1356 and I was an artist, I've thought about this. And they took me up there. I had a dream, once a dream, where they took me to the interior of the sun. It would have fit the description of the Christian hell. That's why when I was up there, I was like, is this hell? But because it's not 1356, I look at it in I have a different perspective. I know that, um, I know that the universe is, it's vast. There's a possibility of dimensions we don't know of. Um, the physical world that human beings know exist is not necessarily the physical world that another being in this universe knows. They might know of more. So I know this, but if it was 1356 and I was an artist, the only thing I'd have to go on is hell. And I portray it as hell. I mean, I also know that the phrase gray aliens has been coined for years. So at 1356, I think, maybe you would have like considered them demons. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it would have been like a demon. It wouldn't be like a gray alien. You wouldn't even have any idea that you didn't even understand the solar system back then. You didn't even understand your own solar system. 1356, everything revolved around us. And that's not the case. It isn't. It isn't even the case of our solar system. I don't know. I'm not sure who made the astute observation. Somebody did. I don't know what year that was. Somebody could probably look it up. Made the astute observation of, how our solar system functions. But for years it was, we're the center of the universe. We're the center of the solar system. We're the center of everything. We're humans. We're the best. Sort of how it was. But it's clear that that might not be the case. And this doesn't have anything to do with the fucking fucked up dreams I've had. Uh, that could be the case of just, the Tic Tacs the Navy took a picture of, took videos of, or the things that people see constantly. I've seen several now, more than several. There was the one, this was a weird one. I was driving up here, it was about 2:30 at night. I was on the highway. It was a real dark stretch. And I look over to the side, this way, there's no cars. And in a field, I'm seeing like these lights, and like they're bright. I remember a bluish light. And I was like, what the hell is that? There was no way to pull off. It was out in the middle of nowhere. Once again, I'm like, what am I seeing? And then I'm like, oh, thank you, emerging later. I'm like, am I seeing, is that some kind of high-tech drone? It wasn't. I'm not really sure what that was. It was not that far. I was telling myself, like, is it a drone? Doesn't look like a drone. What is that? So I've seen more than one. That one I saw by myself, which the time that I saw the orb, like, I don't know how it affected Destiny. There's sort of some stress related afterwards. Like, the first time that I saw it with my neighbor, the red orb that went behind the barn, no prop wash, just sort of floated, for lack of a better description. I left the next day and went back down to Brooklyn. And I was the whole time for like a month until I came back up here. I was just like, what did I see? What was that? Like, if my neighbor wouldn't have seen it, I would have thought I was going crazy. It was so weird. It was like, it changes your perspective on religion. It did with me. I wasn't, we sent a fireball hovering orb over water. We've seen a fireball hovering orb over water. This was sort of like, I guess, a fireball, but it wasn't a fire. It was reddish, but it was spherical. It wasn't on fire. And, but like my whole thing is like now, like the whole, even though that I wasn't religious, you can't help living in the United States and having like the Judo-Christian, ideals, like, sunk into your psyche. Like, that's just part of who we are. Like, when I was a kid, I saw The Exorcist. I was like, that scared the shit out of me because, we live in this society. It's the devil. But after seeing that, the red orb thing, I was flipped out. Coming back up here, too, I was just like, the whole time, I mean, I thought about this. The whole time I was down in Brooklyn, and then coming up, and I admit it, man, when I came back up here, I was pretty freaked out. I was there alone, the dogs and the birds. I had visions of them coming up the steps for some reason. Like, I was worried, like, they're going to come up. I was in this room, and I was going to be flipped out because I was going to see them, like, their shadow or something come in. I was flipped out. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think they do that. I think they can just take your ass, and that's it. So, if it's like my dream, if the dream isn't a dream, the reoccurring dreams that are super realistic, and it's really happening. They don't need a ship. They just take you. They just take you. There's no ship. I don't think so. You know that Elon Musk has some kind of like what's he say? Says you know, maybe this what we're in is just like this kind of glorified program, and uh, that would explain us seeing the UFOs, because the UFOs might be like a glitch in the system. Like we're not supposed to see them, but we do because there's a glitch in the system. You know, Elon's theory, you know, Destiny was trying to explain it to me. Just, we've watched The Matrix before. It's sort of like that. You know, like The Matrix, the movie The Matrix. I will say this, that there isn't an original thought, and I would suspect that if anything was true, somebody's already thought of it and talked about it. Um, Peter, did Morty ever tell you about me? No, you're not Morty's son. No, Morty never told me about you. You don't even have the right last name. I know all his kids. You're an idiot. Did he ever tell me that you're an idiot? No. So he doesn't know you. Morty did not know you. Aliens tech would be derivative too of what? We went to drive and saw The Exorcist when I was 10 years old. Terrified. I snuck into a theater with my friend David Marcus, and I was in 8th grade, and then I remember coming home. Even after the movie, walking home, I was flipped out. It was an R-rated movie. So R-rated movie. 200 miles from. I don't. You don't know where the freezer is, and you know what? I just think that you're an idiot. So later, Jacob. You know, you just sound like a jerk. I don't really need you on my channel. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like you, so like this person I don't really need on my channel. I don't care, idiot. Who cares? Um Seriously, it's just like, oh, is that a threat? Idiotic. People are just idiotic. Yeah, there's a lot of people that just like they have a lot of just stupid ideas, or they think they're funny and they're not. As a comic, I see it all the time. People that think that they're funny and they're not. They don't even have, you know, a minuscule amount of creativity, yet they just let dribble fall out of their mouth, and they think that it's hysterical or something. You know, it's real common. It's especially common with like kids and people with childlike minds. Like people confusing cruelty for being funny. That I've seen on the internet a lot. Uh, well, I don't believe in the spiritual world too much anymore. I think that's anything. You know, like the whole deal is, I if God is anything, it's probably anything other than what we think it is in our earth religions. It's just like abundantly clear that none of them are right. I'm sorry. You're welcome to think whatever you want. I'm all for it. But I mean, come on, all of them say that they're right. They're probably all wrong. Don't you think? I'm not disputing that there was a philosopher named Jesus or Mohammed. I'm not disputing any of this. I'm just saying, there was people existed. But I mean, come on. There's just way too much in the name of God here. That's for sure. You know, how much death has been caused on this planet in the name of God? Think about the Crusades. My God. Oh, and they're supposed to be good Christians. It's just like I have religious people in my family. Like clergy, and you could say, well, that was then and this is now, but you still see it now. How many people are hypocritical? Like that. The Christian attitude, the people that go to church, but like really don't have the Christian attitude. That's pretty common. Look at the trolls on the internet claim that they're Christian. I mean, they lack kindness and charitability. Like, oh, they go to church and everything and they claim to be a Christian, but like, the homeless guy is a scumbag and I'm not going to help him, like that. Or, you know, there's people trying to get into this country. This country is, unless you're Native American, shut your mouth. But there's people that trying to get into this country because their life sucks. And then you have people that claim to be good Christian people, but they don't want to be charitable to these people at all. We haven't had people that you could get from Home Depot to work in a long time. There used to be people that would wait outside of Home Depot. You could hire them for 150 a day. It was great if you ever needed somebody. And if you're gonna hire, if they come back or they're still there, they want 150, give them 200. Fuck it. You can't take it with you. They gotta crap your. There's a lot of people. You think that your life is so shitty. A lot of times I'm like, man, my life sucks, right? Like, god damn, like, me and Destiny were talking recently. Like, why are we like broke? Like, why don't we have the mansion and the mountains and the house in Miami? Or just not. Why do I have to drive this car that's falling apart? You know, why is my life set up so that my car, I'm kicking a tree every time I turn the goddamn engine on? Why is my life like that? But it dawns on both of us like, hey, we don't got it so bad. There's a lot of people that have it worse than us. I got a car, it's just a piece of shit. We got a house. It's a piece of shit, but it's ours. We got heat. We got food in the refrigerator. Life's not so bad. But there's always somebody that's got it worse than you. I got a bad hip. And I have chronic pain. I got a bad hip and bad knee. I have problems every day. But I got a leg. There's people that don't even have a leg. So what, can I really bitch? I can't. I got nothing to complain about. Even like my art career, like, I would have thought when I went into art, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do great at this, right? If I was ever gonna make a lot of money, I thought that it'd be in art. That's what I thought. But can I really complain? I can get shows in New York City. I had shows internationally. Can I complain? I have no reason to complain. So I'm not a financial success. As an artist, I'm not a household name, but people know who I am. I got it better than a lot. There's people that are trying to make art that can't get a show at all. So I'm lucky. I got this. I got YouTube. I got this platform. Now, a lot of this is because of just me not giving up. But I always thought that I'd be farther along or something, or it'd be easy. I'd be on Easy Street at some point. But no, that's not. It's not my life here on this planet. So, but I really have no reason to complain. Sometimes it's hard not to, though. Like, I remember, fuck, I looked at Destiny and was just like, fuck, man, shit. We were at AT&T. AT&T. You know, we're strapped. I got to go get a phone. And I look at Destiny, I'm like, God, life sucks. And she goes, I know. But then, like, we're both like, it's just money, though. Just sucks about our money situation. It doesn't suck. She's downstairs making art. She's cranking it out. You know what I mean? Like, things could be worse. What if we had to do jobs where we couldn't make art? That would really suck. That'd be I wouldn't be here if I had to do that. Like if I had to do an office job, I wouldn't be here. There's no way. If I had to do a real job, training dogs is like if you have to have a job working. Well, I wanted to do it when I was a kid. I wanted to work with animals. So, you know, that's another thing. Like if I have to work, I get to train dogs. You know, I'm my own boss. We don't have to like go into like Walmart or something. I've had those jobs. I was a bartender. I drove cabs. I built pools. Painted houses. I've done all kinds of jobs. I mean, a lot. One time I counted them up. It was like 25 different jobs or something. Oh, well, thank you. You think I have everything? I don't know if I have everything. I mean, I'm not the most extravagant person, that's for sure. Do people love me? Well, thanks, I guess. Some people don't love me. Some people troll me and aren't very nice. You know, but I mean, I've been playing with this drill bit over here, and I'm like almost through this windowsill by just like doing it by hand. I'm almost through. I'm that deep. It's fascinating, isn't it? Imagine how difficult doing something like this would have been without a drill bit. What a pain in the ass. Or like say we were to the point where we had you know the village smithy. It wasn't easy to get something made, you know, and it was probably you know, it was probably sort of expensive. You know, you gotta get your horseshoe or something. You're not, you know, it's not gonna be cheap. Um, Imagine living in 1356. It would have sucked. It would have been free. Imagine living in this house when it was built. This front part of this house was built in like 1881. Now, I was up here in the winter when there was just a wood burning stove, right? And I'd come up on Friday and I'd be leaving like Sunday night. You could never warm it up enough. It was always freezing, like literally freezing, like 0 Fahrenheit. Like, you know, I could just have milk in in the same room as the wood burning stove and it would freeze. But it was better than like being in Brooklyn all the time. I always used this place as like, I got to get out of the city. You know, I used it as storage first because I had this big loft I had to move out of. So I bought this place for storage. And then for years, I'd just come up here and like, I'd be up here for 2 days. One year, I didn't come up but once, you know, because I couldn't. But that was how I would like a vacation because I have the animals and I always had to like work. I still can't go on a vacation. I had this guy in Indonesia. Oh, Emerging Leader's been a member for 3 months, baby Sasquatch. Well, thank you. I had this guy from Indonesia whose dogs were supposed to come. I don't know, I think the pandemic's causing a problem. And he said, why don't you come to Indonesia? I'll pay for your trip and pay all your expenses. You stay here for a month and train my dogs and pay you. I can't do that. I got shit going on here. So I said, no, you got to get your dogs here. But that's how I do it. I can't like, come on, a month? I'd be flipped out. What am I going to do? Leave Remy for a month? There's no way. There's no way I'm leaving Remy. I think I'm almost through with the drill bit. I flipped out when I did Tasho about Remy. I wanted to take Remy with me. I was worried. I was so worried about Remy. Remy! Let me go get Remy. Hang on, let me get Rem. Hey, Remy! Hey, Rem. Hey, Remy, come here. Rem! Come here, baby. Talk to us. Get in here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Good girl. By the way, Remy, on green screen, I'm going to green screen Merlin coming up. This is true. I made Merlin some deer antlers that fit on his head. They look great. So I'm going to get him on green screen. And anyway, I digress. Remy, out of all the animals that I've had on green screen so far, which is Remy are the cats, Remy and Sam the Raven, Remy follows direction better than all of them. Remy, come here, baby. Like, I'd be like, Remy, go over here. Remy, go over here. Now come towards me. Now go to the back. Okay, now come back towards me. Right, Remy? She's great. I was so flipped out, Remy. I was talking about when I went to Tasho, when I went to California, how I wanted to take you. I didn't want to leave her. All I did was like I was constantly calling the person that was like watching my dogs. I was like, how's Remy? How's everybody doing? Is Remy okay? I love Rem. Yeah, you can see Remy. Remy's right there. Right, Remy? No, she does great. There's this, everybody always says when I bring up Sam the Raven, I gotta go in there and work with him in a little bit. But they're always like, yeah, ravens are so smart. All birds are smart, okay? Not all birds have been studied, too. A lot of them have been studied, but the crow and the raven have been studied a lot. Pigeons have been studied a lot. Pigeons can pass the mirror test. Crow or raven can't. It's only about, I think, 4 or 5 birds that they know can pass the mirror test. The pigeon's one of them. I think a jackdaw can. I don't know, but a raven can't. So it's sort of like, you know, like everybody's unique on this planet. Like, if you're gonna work with an animal, do you want to work with, like, everybody puts this importance on intelligence, right? Well, a chimp would be smart, but you can't work with them. They'll rip your face off. You can't even like You can't even like get them to follow direction. Like you put grapes underneath boxes, and you can point to the box that the grapes under. They can't do it. But a dog, you can point to it, they pick it up right away. So who do you want to work with, a dog or a chimp? Not a chimp. Remy's a bird that has been worked with by homing pigeons and shit. They've been involved in the military, doing several things, right, Remy? I don't want Remy in the military though. I wouldn't want Remy to. I'd never fly her like this. The sport. A lot of people do it, and it's a sport. It's popular in England, Australia, United States, parts of Europe. Some birds are worth a lot of money, like birds that like Remy's worth more than them though. You couldn't buy Remy. Remy is priceless. I'd never sell Remy. Someone offered years ago to buy Remy. I was like, no, I'm not selling Remy. Why would I do that? Like, what do you think? You can buy everything? You can't buy me. Screw it, right, Remy? I love Remy. She's awesome. She really is. I got to throw some laundry in too. My pants are drying out from after. I wanted to look like I peed on myself or something. That was good. I'm the room that we got the green screen in, I'm kind of clearing it out to make it more usable for green screen. It's been a slow process. Um, there's just stuff in there we don't use, like a couple different tables that are just like we're not using those. So put one in. Excuse me. I put one in Samson's room because it's a pretty good height for me and Destiny to sit on if we're like live streaming with Sammy in the background. So we were thinking about getting stools, but we don't need stools. We'll use that table. So, um, my parrot, I paid $1,000 for my parrot, worth every penny. What, Remy? Remy loves me. Sure she does. Remy, do you love me? I love you too, Remy. Me and Remy have a kid together. Solar. Do you have a kid with your parrot? We have a kid. Solar. I could go get him. He's a lot like me. He is. Remy isn't Solar like me? He is. He's a lot like me. Solar loves me too. He likes to wrestle with me and shit. I held the egg. I'm more of a father than most of the guys that like get their wife pregnant. I held the egg for like literally how many hours a day would I hold the egg, Remy? Remy did most of the sitting on the egg. That's true. And she fed Solarton when he was real young. But I mean, there was some days 5 hours a day. God, it was exhausting too. Trust me, I know what it's like being a parent. No, I don't want to get up and get Solar. Do I? Remy's here. We don't need Solar. Do we? Remy. Remy's awesome. Right? I'll never regret picking that egg up. This bird that we had, Chip, she laid an egg on a steel plate. I knew she wasn't going to sit on it. And I gave it to Remy, and Remy sat on it right away. Remy was laying eggs on the pillow like every month. Like, they weren't fertile, so there's no way she wanted a baby. Didn't you, Remy? She sure did. So I figured it was the right thing to do. So sort of a pain in the ass. It was. He's still a pain in the ass, Solarton, isn't he? Look at Remy. What's everybody doing tonight? Ow, my leg. I shouldn't have sat down. Look at Facebook. I got one person on here. I'm still gonna keep doing. Red Fantail Pigeon loved her. She was awesome. I'm gonna still keep doing this live stream with Facebook too, because maybe I can build up a following on there. There's no reason not to. There's dog owners on there. I'll answer dog training questions, even if they're ridiculous. What was somebody saying earlier? This is what they asked me. They said, what are the 5 most basic commands? I have a Labrador that's 3 years old that won't heel. And I said it's not relevant because you don't have the trained dog. Why do you want to, you haven't trained your dog at all. And you want to know what the 5 most basic commands are? What are you talking about? The guy's a mess. He didn't train his dog, so what's he want me to do? What's it matter? He's not gonna train his dog. He's 3 years old. He still hasn't trained it. Oh, thank you, Chippy and Merlin. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna do anything. He's just talking, just making himself feel better. Oh yeah, I asked the dog trainer what the 5 most basic commands are. I'm not gonna do anything about it, but I did ask. And it's just like 5 basic commands. What are you talking about, man? You could have trained the dog to at least do 1. Your dog doesn't even heel. People with dogs that don't heel, I don't get it. I don't get it. How can you live like that? And then the dog trainers that are the worst, that are like, put the head collars on the dogs. Like, that's not dog training. That's just management. You could have bought the head collar yourself. You didn't have to go to a dog trainer. That's not a dog trainer. That's not a dog trainer that puts a head collar on you, on your dog. That's just like a dog management person. If they're not going to train your dog to heel, don't go to them. And heel is on one side, okay? The left. It's not on the left or the right or in the vicinity. And if you have 5 dogs, they all heel on one side. And don't tell me it can't be done, because I got videos of me doing it. It's a parlor trick, essentially, because when would I be walking around with 5 dogs that heel? It's just, here, look, they can't heel. They'll all heel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the whole dog whisper thing or whatever it is, with the dogs just surrounding the dog trainer. It's a joke. Do you know what that's similar to? Any dog walker in New York City does that. They're just walking around with a bunch of dogs. That's all it is. You're going to a dog trainer. There's no better than a dog walker. There's nothing amazing about it. Dogs heel on one side only. Do I have to repeat myself? Yeah, obviously I do. And when they're healing, they're even with your leg. One dog heals off of this leg. The next dog heals off of that dog. The dog after that heals off of that dog, and so on and so on. Theoretically, you could have 10 or 15 dogs. They all heal on one side. I've done 5. There's no reason to do any more. I would never, like when I was in the city, take all the dogs out. Like, oh, I'm going to take them all out at once daily. What's that? Most of the time I want to take them out individually to spend time with them. Not like, oh, I'm going to get the walk over. You know, I'm going to get all the dogs to go to the bathroom. It's the easy way out. Right, Rem? Why are you so cute, Remy? She is. She's real cute. Remy, come back over here. You goof. She's a goof. But it is amazing that somebody that calls themselves a dog trainer would actually like sell that, the head collar. It's fucking. What's up, Hillsby? How you doing, Hillsby? You all right? Yeah, it's Remy. Remy's here. Remy, come over here. Say hello to Hillsby. Come here, Rem. Look at it. It's Nixie, the one-eyed pixie. What's up, Nixie? There's Shirley, of course. I don't know. I'll tell you what I'm doing tomorrow with just nursing a headache. That sucks. Tell you what I'm doing with Merlin tomorrow is I'm doing the dummy launcher. That guy is awesome. We finally made him do it today. He did it. Flying colors. Seriously. He was fucking awesome. At first he was, I thought we were gonna have a problem. But he did it. As soon as he saw it, he took off. I wasn't making him wait or anything. You know, he just had to go get it, and he did. Sheltering from the storm? What storm? Is there a storm, really? Isn't that a Bob Dylan song? You want to go dance in it? Be cold. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why do you want to go dance in a storm? That's one of those things going out in the rain that's sort of like a romantic notion, but once you're out there, it sucks. You get your feet wet. It's no good. Just stay in, Nixie. Work on one of your videos. Seriously, you don't want to do that. Just work on one of your little thingamajigs. I was seeing this like computer game being offered, and you just go around in these weird scenarios, like using a bow and arrow, shooting somebody, but then you get shot. Kind of whimsical. You're gonna get shot, but you get to shoot somebody. Right, Remy? Look at Remy. You know what Remy smells like? Soap. I've been working on poetry. Haven't done any videos for a while. Really. Working on poetry. No shit. You're like a young Sylvia Plath, aren't you? Sweet daffodils. She's a pretty pigeon. What do you think of Sylvia Plath? Do you like her? Oh, thank you. What do you think about using balls for play as is detrimental for retrieving? Well, you're talking about play. What do you mean by play? Are you talking about just giving the ball to the dog? Are you talking about using a chuck it and retrieving? It doesn't have to be detrimental. Do you let the retriever chew on the ball? That's detrimental. You can use like take tennis balls and scent them with bird scent, and use a chuck it, and the tennis ball will sort of get lost in the tall grass, and then no, it isn't. But you don't want the dog to be mouthing it. They need to bring it to you. No chewing. That's right. So put scent on the ball, and then they have to find it because the tennis ball will be hard to find. It's not detrimental unless they're mouthing it a whole lot. Then it could be, but they're not supposed to mouth any of the objects. They're just supposed to like bring it back. So a chuck it works good. I used to like when I'd bird hunt and I'd be working with bird dogs. I'd take the feathers, put them in a bag, like a Ziploc bag, and put tennis balls in it. It's easier to use where than a dummy launcher due to too many people in the area. Well, you can use the chuck it, but hang on here. Let's talk. You're doing retrieving by throwing something, okay? And the dummy launcher on the same hand, you're throwing it too. And the reason why you use the dummy launcher is because you're making that association with the gunshot, making the dog wait, and then going to get the dummy. But to do retrieves, you don't have to throw anything. And when you practice retrieving with the dog, you come to a point where you're putting a pile of the same objects down. And then you send the dog to get one object and then bring it back. They sit, you send them to get another object, they bring it back, they deliver it to your hand, then they go get another object and they do that. That is the proper way to do retrieves. When you throw something like the chuck it, the thing of it is you're creating this excitement by throwing it. When we work with a retriever, at a point we stop throwing it. I'm not saying I won't break the dummy launcher out. That's a different story. But you really want to work the dog working them from piles and using their scenting ability. And that doesn't really, the dummy launcher gets powder residue on it, so they have to try and find it. But it's better to really, here's your lab or whatever dog it is, and here's your pile, and just work them back and forth like that. So you're not even throwing it because you don't need, at a point, you don't need the excitement of, throwing the dummy. That's what we do with a young dog just to get the dog out there. Like today with Merlin, I have tips on potty training. Hang on. I just had him go get the dummy. He didn't have to wait because he'd never done it. I was using excitement. But at a point, he's going to have to sit there and wait. And then I'll send him. I take him to the shooting range for noise. I also plant scented dummies. Because I'm in the city, it's difficult to get to an area where I can use a launcher. I make him wait, then throw it, also, then send him. Well, that's good, but you could just as easily get 6 tennis balls and put them in a pile. Because you're not using that excitement of chuck it. You're using repetition, and the dog will just go get it. So it's good that you're making him wait. That's good. But generally speaking, when you're working with a retriever that has advanced, you stop throwing it. You're just working piles. And then you start advancing them on casting. Like you might have a pile here, and a pile here, and a pile here. You send the dog to the middle one, and then the dog comes back. Then you're going to send him to the one up here, but you stop him here and then send him over there. You see, you start working on casting the dog and just placing the objects. You don't need to throw it. We really stopped throwing it at a point. That throwing it we just used to get them. Like if your dog's bored a little bit, I'll throw a bumper. And they don't really have to wait. I'll just be like, go get it. Right? But then they come back, they got to sit. I'm just trying to get more out of the dog by using that excitement and energy. Yeah, potty training. Yeah, I could tell you about potty training. Um, any tips on potty training? How old's the dog? Potty training person. How old's the dog? Because you could have an adult that, you know. How old's the dog? I will say this about potty training while you answer my question. Never use wee-wee pads. I taught him casting in the park. First using elevated beds, then using dummies. Yeah. Um, Never, ever use wee-wee pads. Ever, with any dog. The only time you should ever be doing that is if the dog has like health issues and you need them to go to the bathroom inside or something. You never use wee-wee pads with a puppy. Ever. Don't ever do that. It's insane. They're scented with a pheromone that smells like shit and piss to the dog. Okay? It doesn't matter what object the dog is using to retrieve with. I prefer using bumpers, though, because they have less of a tendency to, and dumbbells, less of a tendency to get mouthy. If they do mouth, that's fine. You're going to teach them not to. But, I mean, you could use tennis balls. I don't. I mean, I have some around here. But I generally, for retrieving, I use bumpers or dummies. But, and she pisses when she gets excited. Well, that's a whole nother story. You're talking about excited peeing. How old is this dog? Hang on. Having time potty training or mini your mini dachshund's 1 year old? How long have you had this mini dachshund? She's 1 year old. Have you had her for the full year? I bet you used wee-wee pads, didn't you? You used wee-wee pads, didn't you? I can talk about trying to get the submissive dog to stop submissive peeing. If that's what you want. But you did use wee-wee pads, didn't you? You did. I know you did. I'm like Judge Judy. I am. I'm definitely like Judge Judy. I know when people did some stupid stuff. You used wee-wee pads with your mini dachshund, didn't you? When she was a when she was a puppy, you used wee-wee pads. So this person doesn't even want to answer me. Because you know I'm right. You did, didn't you? Why'd you do that? Somebody tell you to? Did somebody hand you the wee-wee pads and say, here? You don't have to do what people tell you to do. And just because something's in a store doesn't mean, last spring, no, I won the battle with my wife. Meaning your wife was using the wee-wee pads and then you said, no, we're not doing this. But the wife wanted to use them and you did have them in the house, right? Okay, so let's move on from here. You did use them for a little while and you said, fuck that. Wife loves those, I won't let her use them. Wife loves those, but your wife has already used them, right? No, we didn't. There's conflicting information here. Seriously. Your wife loves them, but you never use them. Anyway, I digress. Your dog is submissive peeing. Come on, I'm an old accord ally. I don't know what that means. How long is the dog's memory? We can talk about that later, but we're talking about the submissive peeing. Now listen, it happens when they get excited, right? So you can't make eye contact with the dog, right? And when you put the leash on the dog, a lot of times that causes excitement too, right? So the dog needs to be dragging a leash around the house. It doesn't have to be a long one, just something you can pick up to get the dog out. But the whole thing of it is that she has the past. She has in the past for her while we dated years ago. Yeah. So now you're telling me the truth. She has in the past for her dog while we dated years ago. Okay. Um, so the deal is this, is that you have to get the dog to stop because it's muscle memory. Who's David Van Prague? I don't know. Listen to me. It's muscle memory. So once the dog starts doing this, they keep doing it. The trick is you have to make it so they don't do it. Now the way you mitigate the peeing is by you keep their bladder empty by taking them out a whole lot more. Okay? You have to take them out a whole lot more. If the dog has drank water, you got to take them out and make sure the bladder's empty. Okay? And the problem is this, is that if there's anybody around the dog that excites the dog, you got to tell them to chill out and leave the damn dog alone. Does your wife talk baby talk to the dog and then the dog starts peeing? Who causes the dog to pee the most? There's got to be one person that it happens to more than others, right? You have to make sure that that bladder is empty as much as possible. I'm telling you, if you're putting the leash on the dog, they get excited and that's right when they pee. So with dogs like that, you have to have the leash ready to go. You have to have them dragging a little bit of leash that you can pick up. Unless if your dog was trained too, like actually trained, which it's not because it's a mini dachshund and you're having problems with this, you wouldn't even have to touch the leash because you just say, come on, heel, and go out. See the problem? See, people get small dogs and they think it's going to go all fine and dandy, but come on, what's the extent of training that this dog has? It doesn't heel. Or else you could just take it out and there wouldn't be any problem. See my point? Your mini dachshund isn't trained to heel. So you got to put the leash on them. They get excited when you're doing that right at the door. How you going to do it? I wouldn't live with a dog like that, meaning like I would be training it. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to keep its bladder empty. It's more difficult than that. Like I would be training it right now and I'd be training it to heel. So that I could just be like, come on, let's go, heel. And that way you could take it out easier and be much quicker. Who gets the dog the most excited is the question. Somebody is. Somebody get the dog more excited than someone else? Does the wife do it or do you do it? Does any of this make sense? I've dealt with this before lots. And I'm telling you, you can change the dog, but you can't change the human. So if you're not willing to do it differently and you expect the dog just to like not submissive pee anymore, that ain't going to work. You got to change. You got to take the dog out a lot more, and you can't have a bunch of eye contact with it. And you can't be real physical with it when it has the full bladder. Is any of this registering? Did you want me to wave my magic wand? Your dog is not going to submissive excited pee anymore? So that's not the way it works. When I come home, usually, consistency is key. I agree, absolutely. So when you come home, is there anybody already home before you? Or how long, let me ask you this, how long is the dog holding it? I mean, if the dog's holding it all day while you're at work, What do you expect? Now, you can also limit water. No water past 8 o'clock. If the house is air conditioned, the dog's going to drink less water. If your dog, this is real important. Are you listening up? What do you feed your dog? What do you feed that dog? This is important. YouTube should verify me. I don't even know what that means. What do you mean verify me? You mean send me my silver button? I didn't want it. By the time I get home, she's already been let out at least twice. Okay? So, what is the dog on as far as food? What do you feed the dog? Blue Ribbon. So it's dry kibble? Listen, you're feeding your dog some crappy dog food, okay? So what happens when the dog eats kibble? What do? They drink a lot of water because it's dry. What do? What do you say? You eat a box of saltines. What would you do? Drink a lot of water. We don't care what you feed your dog. You're feeding crappy dog food too, so shut up. This guy has issues. Let me talk to him. He's having trouble with his dog. Shut up, core person. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're giving the dog kibble. They drink a lot of water. Yes, it also seems like she doesn't like to move her bowels outside in the cold. Whatever. Whatever. But the point is, you're giving your dog pet food. Pet food, they eat, it's dry, then they drink a lot of water, and then it expands inside the dog and presses on the bladder. So what do you think you should do about this? Not feed dog food. Your dog should be on a raw diet. And raw diet is not Stella and Chewy's. Raw diet is raw chicken. Okay? Bone-in chicken. We use leg quarters. So your mini dachshund, you take those leg quarters and chop it into 1, 2, 3 or 4 pieces. You feed your dog twice a day. You give him that with just a minuscule amount of canned spinach. Minuscule for that dog, like a quarter of a teaspoon, maybe something like that. Change the diet, but that isn't going to get the whole thing done. It's just going to make it easier. Now, who lets the dog out during the day for 2 times when you're at work? Because they need to take that dog. You need somebody to take that dog out right before you get home. And this is, her older brother is obese, but that's a whole different issue. Well, her older brother is eating pet food. Pet food has a lot of carbs in it. And your dog needs, how many carbs do you think your dog needs? 0. They get their energy from protein and fat, okay? But they need bone. So tell your wife to fuck off and stop feeding this. I'm sure you have an issue. She loves wee-wee pads because she's lazy. That's why, okay? So your wife loves wee-wee pads because she doesn't have to take the dog out. That's why she loves them. She'd rather have the dog pissing and shitting in the house. This is a fact. That's why she loves him. So your wife is a housewife. She's at home. She needs to take the dogs out 3 times a day, one time right before you get home. And also, when you go into the house, you ignore that dog. Don't ever say hello or goodbye to either the mini or her fat brother, because that'll give a dog separation anxiety, and you don't need to say hello to the dog. I work nights, I come home in the morning. Okay, so is your wife not up at that point? Does she work during the day and you work at night? Let me ask you this. Is the dog it's like a year old, right? Or 2 years old. How old is the dog? Do you crate the dog or does the dog just roam around the house? Do you use a crate or is this just no way your wife would ever crate the dog, right? She wants to use wee wee pads. So no way. She probably thinks a crate is cruel. So your wife looks at the dog in an anthropomorphic way. Do I have this correct? I do, don't I? So you can't even use the crate. That's yes. She's up. Yes, correct. Um, you know, I it'd probably be easier to get the dog. The dog would be better if you ditched the wife. I'm just telling you. Get rid of her. She likes wee wee pads. No, we don't crate. Yeah, see? How is that been positive for your dog? Another argument. I understand. I get it, man. I've been with women that it was just horrible. You couldn't tell them anything. They had problems with their dog. I own Mango, man, because of somebody that I was hanging out with. Yeah, so you don't say anything because like it'll be an argument. Just get rid of the wife, man, and move on. She's not a dog person. Easier to get a new wife. Ditch her. What do you want me to say? She thinks that the dogs want, she's lazy. That's why she likes the wee wee pads. You know it and I know it. That's why she don't want to take the dog out. She wants to have the dog and wants to probably talk. I bet she talks baby talk to the dogs, does she? She does, doesn't she? It's not. I tell her a lot of what you're saying. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because she's just going to tell you that I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. You're not going to tell her anything, right? She doesn't give a shit. Do you all have children or are the dogs the children? Is she sublimating and the dogs are the kids? Is there an element there of that? That like the dachshunds are your strange little wiener kids or something? Your advice has been great. Do you have a website for your training services? Yeah, readyourdog.com. But your wife, it doesn't matter because I only do board and train, okay? And your wife isn't going to let either of those dogs be trained. No way. They are not going to his house for how long? No way. Those are my babies. Oh, you have kids also? Fuck, why'd you get 2 dogs, man? How old are the kids? And I'm the disciplinarian there too. With the kids and the dogs. Is your wife hot? At least is she hot? Is it worth putting up with it? It can't be. How old are the kids? I guess you love the wife, or else you wouldn't be putting up with this shit. You'd be like, come on, they're dogs. What's the matter with you? You want to use wee-wee pads? You want to be picking up poo and pee? And she, you know, how do the dogs get along with the kids? 3 dogs and a pony. Well, I'll tell you what. You give us the pony. You give us the pony, and I will train one of the dogs. The pony doesn't live with us. Well, the pony could live here. Okay? You give us the pony, 4 and 7. That's too much work, dude. Your kids don't need the pony. Me and Destiny do. So you give us the pony, I will train either the fat boy. Okay, I'll train your fat boy, or the submissive peer. Do the kids make the dog pee? They must. See, this is the problem here, is because even if you try training the dog, you have the kids involved. You have... did he say she's hot? Really? Yes, she is. Okay. Well, he's got a hot wife. He's, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. We'll believe you. And he's got a pony, so things are going pretty good. I don't know about... If you had the wife and just the pony, I think that you'd probably be happier, but I will train your dog, but it would be a trade for the ponies. Is the pony saddle trained? I mean, is it like, can it... I'm a small adult. Can it handle a, you know? Destiny's tinier than me. I'm about 130. Could the pony handle my weight? We'll make it work. Or is it real tiny pony? It comes more prevalent when you come home, because the dog hasn't seen you in a while. But when you come home, where are the dogs? Are they meeting you at the door? What do you do that you work night? Pony is my daughter's hunter jumper. She doesn't need it. God, you must be doing all right. What are you, like a doctor or something? You work in the ER? She shows with him. Well, all right. I'd train your dog for cash then. What are you? Do you work? Yes, he's a hunter. Are you a doctor? Is that what you do? You work in the ER at night? Is that why you're not home? I mean, you got a pony, and listen to Hillsby. How many hands is the pony? And I mean, your kid is, you know, it doesn't live there. You're boarding the pony. You're not broke. You got a night job. I think you're a doctor. Am I correct? They hear me and meet me. That's a problem. Do you have a backyard? Listen, you got a backyard, and is it fenced? Is your backyard fenced? Yeah, I prefer cash anyway. The pony's probably not worth that much. Well, it could be. Yeah, I probably do better asking for cash, not your pony, and buy my own damn pony. Oh, like Putin riding a horse? But I'd ride a pony, not a horse. I'd ride a little pony and be bare-chested. You're a doctor. He's a doctor. He's in the ER. He comes home after working a night shift. Yes, you are a doctor. Yeah, see, I'm psychic. I'm fucking psychic. It's true. But here's the deal. This is what you do. Call your wife that was a nurse and is now the housewife, right? The whole yard is fenced. And you text her and you say, I'm going to be home in 5 minutes. Put the dogs in the backyard. Okay? I bet it wasn't cheap. It's your daughter. She wants to, like, you know, you got her a good horse. Good for you. So you text, I bet the trainer's expensive, right? And the boarding has got to be at least 500 a month or something. Now listen, so you're on the way home. 5 minutes before you get home, you text your wife. You make this deal with her. You say it has to be like this. We got to get the dog to quit doing it. You put both dogs in the backyard. Then you come in. The dogs have been in the backyard. They've peed. Make sure they stay out there for 10, 15 minutes. Make sure they peed before you let them in. When you let them in, don't say a word to them. Ignore them. Right? You just ignore them. But you make the deal with your wife that was a nurse, right? She was a nurse. Is that correct? She worked in the medical field. And you say, we're going to do this. Every time, how do you get a hot wife? He's a doctor. He married a nurse. She's probably got a nice ponytail. Was she a nurse? Does she have a ponytail? Because what guy doesn't like a ponytail? Destiny looks adorable in a ponytail. Like, so cute. Destiny could be a nurse. She's not, she doesn't have the degree or anything, but I mean, like, she's adorable like a nurse. Yeah, what guy doesn't love a ponytail? The doctor here, no, she wasn't a nurse. Well, I'm wrong there. It was your college sweetheart. Now listen, but you have to make sure, this is key. This is key. That dogs are not like people. That it's a lot of muscle memory. Okay? So you have to do this religiously for a long time. And any other situation where you think the dogs are going to pee, you can't say, it's mostly me. Any other situation you have to avoid if you want the dogs to be totally through this. You want the dog to be totally through this. In other words, if you sent the dog to me, I know of this history. So the dog would be with me for 90 days and I would be doing my damnedest not to let that dog submissive pee. So it would have 90 days of not doing it. It's readyourdog.com. But that website's so old. It's so old. All the time frames for all the dogs, I do adults and puppies. I don't care how old the dog is, it's 90 days. And I got a dog here from Canada. It's going to be over 90 days because the dog is great. Yeah, it's a flat rate. But he's still having like some behavioral issues. So I screw myself. It's a flat rate. But everybody's doing 90 days from now on because it's necessary to teach them to do it. Like the dog that pees, honestly, that dog would have to come here, learn to heel, sit down, whoa, retrieve, do weave pulls, the dummy launcher. Everything a big dog can do, but it would have to do it on a smaller scale. So its dumbbell that it would be retrieving would be tiny. But it has to do the same shit. But like the one I can contact you, yeah, info@readyourdog.com. It's info@readyourdog.com. But what was I thinking? But here's the deal. So Wyatt was here learning muscle memory of being able to do the commands. It would be also, we would be having it learn muscle memory of not peeing. Do you understand? That would be the goal. So it would have 90 days of not peeing, submissive peeing. You would have a better chance of success. It's going to be hard for you to pull this off because you got the kids around that I suspect probably make it submissive pee too. You understand the point? Or the wife. Oh, your dog's already retrieved? That's good. You got like the tiny tennis balls and shit? That's good. Who taught him that? You taught him that? Even Fat Boy will retrieve? Change their diet to a raw diet, especially Fat Boy. If you want to send them both, you bring Fat Boy here, and I'll try and get some weight off of Fat Boy, for sure. It's that diet, that's good for human beings. Like, oh, you look at the dog food bag and you see blueberries and apples and all this shit that like a human would eat. That's not really what your dog eats. Like the FDA put out like this warning that some of this like grain-free food, blue ribbon a grain-free food, causes cardiomyopathy in dogs. Now they think the cardiomyopathy is because of lentils and peas. There's human food that just is terrible for dogs. Grapes will kill a dog. There's all this shit that's like terrible for dogs. Raw salmon can give a dog salmon poisoning disease. Yeah, send them both. I'll get weight off a Fat Boy and I'll try and get the peer, not the pea. But the deal is this: if you could talk the wife into, give the wife a pony, and say we need the dogs trained. This sucks, right? So you give the wife a pony, right? And then she'll be busy with that. I'll train your dogs. I'll try and get the mad peer under control. That is the way to do it, though. If somebody has 2 dogs and they're like, well, you're not poor, so you're smart. But like they're like, well, I get real problems with this one dog, but then they don't get the other dog trained. When they do the lessons, it's a problem. The enzymes in peas, right? When they're not really sure. But like you're dealing with one dog one way and the other dog no, you gotta start doing it differently. So it's better to learn the commands and try and clone yourself into the dog trainer as much as you can with both dogs. That is the way to do it. But they don't really know what's causing them, but it's lentils and peas they think. But there's so much shit in the grain-free food, I wouldn't be surprised if it was sweet potatoes. But when they look at all the grain-free food, the ones that really cause the cardiomyopathy the most, like the non-genetic cardiomyopathy, they all have this like link in it, which is peas or lentils. But I mean, you can overwork a dog and get the dog cardiomyopathy. Don't run with your dog, by the way. If there's anybody out here that runs with your dog, don't do that. They can't keep up with you. And I'm not talking about this guy's mini dachshunds. I'm talking about like any dog. We were persistence hunters when we were starting out. And what we would do is we'd push animals out into the hot sun and they get delirious, right? The dogs are good at some things. Like they can walk at a real quick pace up a rocky hill with ice and snow. They'll smoke us. But that dog that's trying to there isn't a dog in the world that could run the New York City Marathon and not die. They can't do it. We have the advantage. We can drink water. We get, the 2 legs are more efficient than 4. This is just the facts. Don't run with your dog. I don't care if it's a lab, a German Shepherd. It's cruel. And look at everybody that runs with their dog. The dog is lagging behind them. And I'm not shitting about the cardiomyopathy. It'll give your dog cardiomyopathy. Don't overwork the goddamn dog having it run with you. You're not doing it any favors. Dogs are sprinters. They're not long distance runners. And if you look at wolves in Yellowstone, they go after the animal. If they don't get it, they quit. They got to shut down. That's how it is. There's no time that the wolf goes after a prey animal and it's going to run after it for 2 hours. That does not happen. You have it has less than 3 minutes to get it. If they're not going to get it, they're not going to get it. They're going to wait and try it again later. They're a sprinter. That's why it's appropriate to train your dog to do retrieving. It goes and gets the object and brings it back. It gets a rest period, goes and gets object, brings it back. Don't run with your dog. Don't do road work on a bike with a dog. It's moronic. So moronic. And if you want to bring up mushing dogs, those dogs are not weekend athletes, one. And two, they're doing exactly what I'm talking about. It's this real quick pace in fucking 20-degree weather. It's inappropriate to be running with your dog in 70-degree weather. You're gonna fucking bum them out. And another thing, while we're on the subject, if you're doing retrieves with your dog and it's 75 degrees and the sun's out, they have to breathe through their mouth. It's not cool. You're bumming them out. They're gonna shut down, and they're not gonna want to do the retrieves. Do the retrieves when the sun is down, when it's summertime. You do it in the evening, in the morning. Or sometimes I'll go out there. Very informative, great. Oh, I appreciate that. But sometimes I'll go out there with a dog and I'll do one retrieve with them. It's 75 degrees. Go out and do one retrieve. We're done. Think about when you do the retrieve with the dog that the dog is doing a good retrieve. Like him do it proper and spinning the heel. It isn't about doing 20 retrieves as far as you can throw it. That's not it. Put the dog up wanting more. That's what you want to do. Shows how much you... Yeah, well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. I've done many changes since discovering your channel. Well, I appreciate that, Steve. Oh, look. Nixie with her English cheers. Cheerio. Pip, pip. I don't know. It just drives me crazy when I see people running with dogs. I'm like, what do you think you're doing? I know people that are getting dogs, and when they get the dog, they're going to turn it into a running buddy. The dog is going to run on asphalt and shit. They don't even, they don't even think about it. Like, oh, they run real long. That night, they cannot run as fast as a human. They walk. They don't run. They walk real fast. They do, what is it called, a trot? That's what they do. Mushing dogs trot. In snow. When it's, your dog functions great at 28 degrees, I swear to God. That's like today I did a session with Merlin. It was the first day to do the dummy launcher with the guy. Like, it's 30 degrees. We were doing retrieves, so he's doing retrieves and then he's getting breaks. But we were out there for almost 20 minutes. But it was, it was like 30 degrees out or something. All right, that's cool, MT, Dr. MT. I can't believe I told you all I was psychic. Look, he's a doctor. See, it's not psychic. You know why? It's because I'm like, oh, his daughter has a horse, okay? He works at night. He has to do something at night where he makes a decent living. Doctor. Who else works at night that makes a decent living? ER doctor. I bet that's what he is, too, an ER doctor. See, I'm even more psychic. I don't know why I think that. Maybe a scotch and a cigar to talk to you about the old days in the court if you bring up dogs. That was so long ago, though. That was so long ago. I wasn't even into that. Somebody else started it. Nixie and C, they started it. And I don't drink or smoke, but what do you smoke? What kind of cigars do you smoke? You like a Macanudo? That's what I used to smoke, is like a Macanudo Portofino. I like those. They tasted good, but you shouldn't be smoking. You know that. And alcohol is terrible for you. I quit drinking years ago. That stuff will tear you up. It will. It almost killed me. Don't drink. But see, there's some, thank you. I've been upland hunting with the GP and lab successfully together. Are there any challenges in the field together? You've had both breeds. GSP tends to wander, labs stay near. Can GSP flush, retrieve? Yeah, sure. Yeah, they can do that, sure. I'd have Ike do that sometimes. He would do no, don't be sorry. I'd have Ike do that. Uh, I shoot it. Tonka find it. I'll shoot it, and then I could retrieve it. A lot of times I used Ike, like if a bird dropped in water. Um, but just make sure that there's no. If you got the GSP in the lab, that they both can't go on the retrieve. Just keep a handle on it because they might like all hell might break out. So just you know what I'm saying? Like have a good handle on it and work with the lab and the GSP before you go out there and hunt. Um, Alcohol does taste weird. I don't like. I don't know. I drank it for the buzz. Is what I did. But practice honoring with your GSP and the lab before you're in real life setting in the field. So practice honoring so the dogs know, you know, that the dog goes and gets it that you release and you probably know this, but you release the dog with the dog's name. So it's like Bosco or that way the dog knows which dog is supposed to go get it. Um, oh, I used to hunt all the time. I got sick. He got cancer, and you know, I wasn't gonna take Tonka hunting without Ike, and then I just sort of like haven't been doing it. I was mushroom hunting for a while. Like maybe I'll take Gus out this lab, and I'll go look for Chaga with him, and I'll take Tonka too. Fuck it. Tonka's an idiot. He's such a douche. He's such. He's the most hyperactive dog I've ever known. I own him. It's like he never gets tired. I was like, this afternoon, I was looking at him like, fuck, he's like 10 or 11 years old. He's acts like, a normal dog at 1 or 2, but hyper, you know? It's fucking crazy. At 1, oh my god, that dog. That dog, the Tonka, would hunt and then want to hunt. He'd hunt every day. He'd work every day. Friend has GSP. I have a lab. We wanted to go together. We'll work them together first. Yeah, just do that. Make sure that they're going to behave. And then if it's the both of you, you watch the lab and he watches the GSP. You shouldn't have any problems. Just make sure that like if you shoot, they both can't go after the bird. That could be, they could start tearing it apart or fighting or something. They really had to get that, but I mean, like, it's definitely possible. It's more than possible. I mean, growing up, man, we were always hunting with more than one lab. I know it's different, but I mean, it's always like, here's a lab, here's a lab, it was the lab's new honoring, so the lab never went, the appropriate lab went to go get the bird. Um, what's up? Nothing. I know that our past presidents and deep shit. I know that. I'm not gloating. God, I'm not. I'm not. Not really. He's in trouble though. He is in trouble. I can say that because there's only 2 people on Facebook. Facebook's really hardcore. I'll tell you this is the truth though. Like, I train a lot of conservative people's dogs. They don't give a shit. They know that I was, and then now I'm not. They don't care. Nobody gives a shit that wants me to train their dog. You know what they want? They want me to train their dog. They don't care if I badmouth. Okay, MT. Yeah, contact me and talk to the wife. You're gonna have to buy her a pony, or buy her a car. Chicks love sports cars. Buy her a Tesla. She probably already has one. I just want that little punk Kushner to go down like his crooked daddy. Oh, Hillsby, that's not very nice. Damn it, I'm changing food tomorrow. I'm not ashamed to admit it when I was wrong. The fifth ingredient in the food is peas. Sixth is peas and starch. Yeah, it's a, Steve, that whole grain-free thing. There's, Abity makes a really great food, and they use some rice in there. But if you're really dead set on using pet food and not raw diet, I would use Abity. But I'd get the Abity granule. There's like a granule food. It's very strange. It's very dense. And watch out, your dog will get fat on it. But it's a really good food. Um, that's what I would switch to. You'd have to, unless you're in this area, I don't know, maybe you could find somebody. I know that you can have Abity sent to you. The grain free, they have a raw diet too that I'll use with puppies when I'm like real tired. Like, I'll just buy Abity so I don't have to smash chicken, because like if a puppy comes here and it's like 8 weeks old, I'm like, I got all the other dogs and I got the puppy. I'm just like, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll give them Abity, and then I'll start switching them into my own raw, smashing the chicken. I know a rabbi who used to stalk the Kushner boys. Used to stalk the Kushner boys. We all used to go to the same synagogue in Livingston, New Jersey. They had a restraining order and everything. For the rabbi was trying to get down their pants. Is that what you're saying? He reminds me. Is it? Oh, hang on. My phone's dying here. Pennsylvania, you might be able to get Abity. Abity is located in Poughkeepsie, New York. Okay? Abity dog food, Poughkeepsie, New York. They can send it to you, but there might be a place in Pennsylvania that has it. But if you're going to use dog food, that's the only one that, yes, he was perving on them. That's the only one that I would recommend. And they have raw too. That's, like I said, I'll use that. But generally speaking, I don't want to use any pet food. But if I was going to use a pet food, that is the one I would use. Your dog will look good on it. Just watch out, because it's it'll get them to put on weight on that stuff. So I gotta shut off here. The phones are dying. What's wrong with Core? I don't have enough time to go into this. Okay. So my phone's dying. So anyway, thank you everybody. I'll see ya later.